All right, friends, today we're going to be talking about how to properly get your NC Miata automatic transmission fluid levels correct. And it's less difficult than the manual makes it out to seem. So I'm just going to clarify some of the things that are in the manual to help you better understand. Assuming that you have the basics down, we're just going to discuss actually getting the transmission to the proper levels and going from there. So I actually have mine all done, but I'm going to show you how it is, the steps to take once you think you have the levels correct. So if you don't know, you need a 24 millimeter for the fill plug. You need a 5 millimeter Allen key wrench for the check plug, and if for whatever reason you're doing a drain and fill, you need a 14 millimeter for the drain plug. Go ahead and hop on over to nc-servicemanual.com to double check the instructions, but everything I'm going to be showing you today is kind of based off that and to clarify some of the misconceptions. So once you fill the car up, reinstall the fill plug. And now we're going to start checking our transmission fluids. So we're going to actually turn the car on. And the shifter here, we're going to go from park to drive, pausing 2 seconds or more in between each one. We're going to do this a minimum of 2 to 3 times. And then we're then going to double check the transmission fluid temperature. I'm going to turn my car off here just for a second. The transmission fluid temperature, the service manual makes it sound as though there's a P&ID value that you can check with your OBD2 meter. I have a 2006 Miata NC Sport. Mine does not have that P&ID. It does not have a temperature sensor on the transmission anywhere, as far as I am aware to tell. That is a P&ID value. Now, however, at the bottom of your car here, at the bottom of the footwell, you will find the transmission controller here. You can see that I have shorted out these 2 pins here. You're going to see this in the service manual. So if you want to check that temperature value for the transmission, you do need to short those pins together. This is a 22 gauge or 20 gauge wire. I would stick in that 18 gauge or smaller is what you need for in there. So short those 2 pins together. And now we're going to get on with the video. Turn the car on. Let it idle for a second, and we're just gonna go 2 seconds or more in each one, and then we're gonna go all the way back up, and that is considered 1. You're gonna do that minimum 2 times, 2 to 3 times, okay? Now, once you've done that, you're gonna put it into neutral, and you're very quickly gonna go drive to neutral, just like that. Now, the service manual makes it sound like you only need to do it like 6 times or something like that, and see that in transmission light, 2 seconds. It blinking right now tells me my transmission is above 60 degrees Celsius. If that is the case, you want to wait a minimum of 10 minutes with the engine off. I would highly recommend more like 15, because by the time that you exercise this two rotations, it's gonna have warmed up again. So I would really minimum 15 minutes of wait time. If that's happening to you, I would recommend 15 at the minimum. Go clean your car out or something like that. But at that point in time, you are good to check your transmission fluid levels. So now we're just going to get underneath the car, and I'm not going to show this. I'm just going to talk through it. Now you're going to get underneath the car, and you're going to check that 5 millimeter Allen key on the overfill plug. You're going to loosen that all the way, take it off, and you're going to let it drip. Let it continue to go until you get a drip, and then reinstall it, and you're good to go. I want to clarify, the engine should be on at this point in time. Do not turn the engine off to check this. The engine has to be on, 100%. I'm positive on this. I hope this helps. I'll provide some links in the description below. If you're wondering what kind of transmission fluid to use, I 100% cannot recommend enough the Valvoline Max Life. It's this right here. You can get it for $22 for a whole gallon of it at Walmart. Now, if you do a drain and fill, let's just say that that's all you're doing, a drain and fill, you're approximately going to drain about 3 quarts on the dot. And that is the way I drain that. As I loosen the fill plug, I loosened the fill plug, and then I started the engine, exercised the transmission. This is after, you know, it's been draining. It's not draining anymore. I've exercised the transmission to reverse neutral drive while it's still draining. Yes, it will not clunk. It'll be fine. And you'll get out an extra quarter or so on that. Online, you're going to see things that say that you should be able to get out anywhere from 3 to 4.5 quarts. I was only able to get 3 quarts out of my transmission. So that is how you get your levels correct. I will say that if you dump out 3 and then you measure how much you're putting back in, yeah, that's what I did here. But I did do the extra due diligence, and I did double check with the temperature, just the procedure that I just showed you, and it actually dumped out a little bit more. So don't take it for granted that you can just measure and then refill. But hope this helps. Just clarify, if you're considering taking this to a dealer and you have some decent experience with engines and cars, I would encourage you not to take it to a dealer. I've done an engine swap in this car to a 2.5 liter, and I was a little bit hesitant about doing this, and I did it, and it really was not a big deal. The biggest key is really remembering and knowing to leave that engine on while checking the fluid levels. And lastly, the very first step in the service manual has you check the overfill plug from the get-go. Don't fucking do that. If you're just doing a drain and fill, do not check the overfill plug until the transmission fluid is 100% up to temp, because that overfill plug is gonna drain as if it's the drain pan. So, well, yeah, I kind of screwed that up saying that. Yesterday, I knew that I was about 2 cups short of transmission fluid, and so that's why I was out here yesterday. And then today, I was like, I'll just go ahead and completely swap that stuff. So, anyways, rambling on too long. I'll end it here. If you have any questions, comments, just let me know.